Hi guys, Callum here from 3D Tomorrow. In this video I'm going to be showing you how you can use your 3D printer to create professional artwork like this for less than a fiver. Let's go! So if you're like me and you own a 3D printer, you might be familiar with the question, what do you print with it? It's one of the most common things that I get asked. And whilst I do often say that I spend a lot of time printing various products or more decorative items, I do also like to push the boat out and try to use my 3D printer to create things that they aren't necessarily designed for. And that was the intention for this project. I wanted to experiment printing directly onto paper to try and create nice artwork pieces like this. My initial experiments were of reasonable success. I printed this piece here. However, one of the issues I was finding with it was that the paper was actually starting to wrinkle up. I don't know whether you can see that on the camera, but the heat from the printer itself was causing the edges to pull in and it didn't have the best look. I thought I would have a go printing it slightly smaller, and that did improve the effect. And the paper wrinkled less, but it still didn't produce exactly what I was looking for. I also felt that it didn't look as 3D as I wanted, so also experimented printing this one, which is 2mm thick, and as you can see from the side, it looks quite different to how it looks from the front, whereas a single paper drawing of pen or pencil or a print would look fairly similar even from the angle. You would still be able to see down the slots of the bridge itself. My third idea was to just print the piece as a piece itself and then stick it directly onto the surface. However, the issue with this is obviously you require the piece to all be connected, and as you can see with these bridges, there has some detail underneath, which of course would be a nightmare to try and stick down all those little pieces individually. So the technique that I settled on is this 5-stage process. Step 1 is to turn your artwork into a vector. To do this, we want to go to vectorizer.io and then upload our image. I'm using the Clifton Suspension Bridge. As you see, this is a very low quality PNG file, but that does not matter, and actually in this instance has worked quite well to produce a little vector. It's coming out with 32 colours, but we want to change that down to 2 so that it is as simple as possible, and then we're going to want to remove the white part from the output so that we end up with a single colour vector, as that is what is required to turn it into an STL file. Click Vectorize to produce the final resolution version, and then we can download SVG. Step 2 is to turn the vector into a 3D printable file. And to do this, we go to svg2stl.com, upload the file that we created in the previous step, then give it a sensible extrusion height. I chose 1mm, click Convert, and then download your STL file. Step 3 is to prepare the file for printing. Since I'm printing directly onto A4, I can scale the part up to a suitable size. I actually found that those prints that were about 200mm wide looked the best because it gave some nice border around the outside and it had a more professional look. The ones that were done right to the edge, I'll hold them up for comparison. The one right to the edge didn't look quite as nice as this one did, in my opinion, but you might think differently. Step 4 is to prepare the build surface. So I use a glass build plate, as you might have seen in some of my previous videos, and I have chosen to use a thick as possible card for this. I had a 260 GSM piece of A4 card, and it's actually photo paper, as you can see from the shiny surface. Some of the prints that I did on 160 GSM card did not work as well, and you can see the wrinkling Another issue was also around the edges where the masking paper attached to it. There was issues when it was peeled back off, and that shiny surface of the photo paper worked a lot better, as you can see in my final piece. So time to apply the masking tape all the way around the outside to ensure that the paper stays on the build plate. The settings that I used were heated bed off, 190 degrees for the hot end, as I wanted it to be as cool as possible to minimize the risk of the paper warping, and also have the fan on at 100% to again ensure that the heat is there for the shortest possible time and minimize that warp. If you experiment with other settings and find that some work better, then I would love to hear about this. Just put a message down in the comments. Step 5, print your file. So there you have it. Now you can too create artwork like this using your 3D printer. If you do try this technique out, then please do share it with me. I'd love to see, put it in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe to the channel and like, share, ring the bell, etc. There'll be plenty more videos like this coming up in the future. Cheers guys.